And you take exact change?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me run out to the truck. I'll be right back.
Okay, I'm going to be grabbing your file.
Perfect. You're in luck. I found exact change. Y'all can mail me the receipt too. Just mail me the receipt. You got my address.
Tony Tone Show, Vintage Sound 93.1 FM. Just heard a little clip from the video that has gone viral. Brett Sanders paid a speeding ticket with 22,000 pennies, and he's on the MPW Digital TV Celebrity Hotline right now to talk about it. Hey, Brett.
Good morning.
Hey, man. Welcome to the show. I saw your story. So did it happen last week, or when was it that you show up and you pay for a traffic ticket with 22,000 pennies? What was the exact date?
The exact date was Friday, May 20th, and the video was released on the 22nd of May.
Wow. So this thing kind of took off, and as of today, because I'm sure you know, like, how many views are you at, buddy?
We're almost at 3 million at this point.
Oh, my gosh. So that is awesome. And I've wanted to try this, Brett. So let's back up a little bit and give people a little bit of background on the story. So you get a traffic ticket for $212. What was the ticket for?
The actual ticket was for speeding. I was driving 39 miles an hour on a 30-mile-an-hour residential street.
Oh, you rebel. You're a rebel, Brett.
Oh, yeah, right? Yeah, and if you look at my dash cam, it was only for like 3 or 4 seconds because there's a stop sign right in the middle of the road. So it was so, petty, in my opinion. And so I decided to fight it, all the way to a jury trial and lost, got convicted. And when they add in all the court costs and everything like that, it adds up to $212.
Honestly, which isn't that bad for as far as you took it, right? I mean, it could have been more.
Yeah, I just find it kind of ironic that you have to actually pay the state to actually defend your, freedom, basically. So, as far as I'm concerned, it's a speeding ticket fine of $212.
I tell you what, I've gotten a few speeding tickets in my life, but I'll never forget the one several years ago. And I went to court to pay the ticket, and it was $160. And I don't know if they do the same thing in Texas as they did in Iowa, where they broke it down, and it was like $30 of that went to like the new patrol car fee. And I would almost, Brett, rather not see where it's going, just take my money, because then I got a little frustrated.
Yeah, I mean, you can't look at this and not see that it is transferring money from good, hardworking, and sometimes poor people to the state for whatever they're wasting it on. And so at the end of the day, it is extortion, and they're shaking people down who haven't hurt anybody or sometimes haven't even endangered anybody.
Right.
And making them pay all these fines, and if you can't pay the fines, they suspend your license, and then when you get caught driving on a suspended license, you do jail time. And so it's really a perpetual system, and unfortunately, it really disproportionately affects the poor. And I don't think this is America, and I don't think that's very American, if you ask me.
No, you're right, and I mean, quite honestly, to have someone go to jail for driving, without a license or on a suspended license, but then the kid, the college student that rapes the girl, he goes to jail for 6 months. I mean, there's something wrong. Like that is not right. That does not balance out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally agree. And that's kind of, I've kind of latched on to fighting and bringing more attention to speeding tickets, as petty as they sound, because most people have dealt with it at one point or another, and they have to go to court, and they have to deal with a little bit of the legal system. And I think everybody understands that it's a scam. Some people are not willing to admit that, but it is. It's a scam, and it's theft by it's legalized theft, essentially. And I've used it kind of as my stomping ground to kind of bring attention to bigger issues of government theft and things that we deal with, outside of our daily lives.
It's definitely a good platform to be on. When you went to the Chase Bank and you said, hey, I need 22,000 pennies, what was the first thing that they said? Were they like, okay?
They said, who are you paying and what is the fine? Because no one comes in there with a bunch of pennies and maybe for an art project or something, but no, she knew I was something more nefarious. And so I let her in on the thing and said, just check my YouTube channel on Monday, and I think you'll realize what's going on. So I'm sure they got a big laugh out of that.
I love it. Yeah, and if anything, Brett, with this whole thing, you're drawing more attention to the fact that we need to start using the penny on a regular basis, don't we?
Either that, or it's an argument to just ban the penny and not use it anymore.
Right. Well, and I tell you what, it's interesting to me. And sorry to interrupt, but I've seen this happen before, where I think it was maybe somebody tried to pay a ticket or whatever with quarters, and they were like, "We're not going to accept it." Well, listen, that's currency. You have to take it, right? I mean, they have to accept 22,000 pennies.
Yes, I mean, it's their own currency, so they must accept it. And so, yeah, no matter if it's pennies, quarters, or dollars or whatever, I mean, it's legal tender, and they are forced to accept it. Now, I think some places have created policies or laws or something that make you have them rolled or something like that. But in Texas and the city that I live, there's no rules in that regard. And so by dumping them all out on the counter and leaving, I mean, I've paid my fine, they've got my money, and I don't. And so there's really no recourse for them unless they wanted to try and manufacture a different charge of like littering or disturbing the peace or something like that. But I wasn't going to stick around to find out. I was just out of there.
Well, I love it because it said that you gave them like an additional 3 hours of work to count it and sort it, and I thought, sometimes you go to places to pay fines or whatever, and I don't want to say it doesn't look like anybody's doing anything, but, Brett, you made sure that they had a little bit of work, so hats off to you, man.
Yeah, I mean, if they're going to steal my money, at least they should have to work a little bit for it, and maybe, just maybe, while they were counting all those pennies, they were thinking, man, this guy worked a lot of time and probably worked hard for this money, and now we're counting it and giving it to the state, and he didn't actually do anything wrong. He drove a little bit faster on the road and didn't endanger anybody. So, hopefully maybe I'm even planted a seed in their minds that what they're doing is wrong. And so that's my whole point. That was my whole goal of making this video, is trying to just plant a seed that, speeding is basically punishing people for a future crime. Speeding doesn't always lead to a fiery death. And, I think people are responsible and they want to drive safely, and you can speed and do that safely. And just because you break the law or get a speeding ticket doesn't make you a criminal, and it doesn't make you wrong or immoral. The only immoral people are the ones who make claim against your property for not hurting anybody.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my whole goal, is to wake people up to that idea, because I'm a freedom activist. I want freedom in my lifetime. And I'll do whatever I have to do to bring more attention to that.
Well, I tell you what, 22,000 pennies for a $212 speeding ticket is one way to do it. Over 3 million views on YouTube. Brett Sanders, thanks, man. I appreciate the time. Have a great weekend, okay?
Thanks, you too.
All right, buddy. Take care. Bye.